Welcome to Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast, where it's always about sharing uplifting, encouraging stories. I'm your host, Jody Sheffield, and where we have real conversations with people from all around the world, sharing their stories, what they've been through, what they've gone through. My mission for this podcast is to uplift and inspire and to remind people that their stories matter. Everyone has a story, and in a world filled with noise and negativity, this place is for honesty and to share hope and human connection with real stories. We shine a light on good and celebrate resilience and encourage one another to keep going. This world needs more encouragement, more kindness, more real stories that remind people that they are not alone. So, if you have a story you'd love to share, something you've been through and gone through, I'd love to have you on. Reach out to me and let's get you on Chit Chat. I hope in this episode and every episode you get something out of it. I just want to encourage somebody out there. We have great people sharing their stories and great music as well. You're watching Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. Hello, I'm Jody, the host of Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. You know, every time we gather here on the podcast and each episode, I am reminded how powerful stories really are. Sharing life, the ups, the downs, the messy middles, and you never know how your journey might be the spark to someone who really needs it. And I truly believe that everyone could use some encouragement. So that's why this podcast is here. Well, thank you. If you're listening for the first time or watching for the first time, or you've been here for the long haul, the many episodes we produced, thank you. We got a fun show lined up for you today with some amazing music. And the artists give me permission to share their songs. We have Andrew Dean, Bernadette Kathryn, Dust and Grace, and Meghanne Pulles. All have given me permission to play their tunes, and I'm really thankful for that. And I'll have the links at the end of the show so you can check out their music, and we'll be tagging them as well. I also want to thank my sponsors who are part of this this journey of Chit and Chat, locally owned and operated. I love promoting local businesses and just trying to get the word out for you to check them out. My guest today is from my neck of the woods. She and her husband eliminated $107,000 in debt, and now she's on a mission to help families take control of their finances, reclaim their time, and breathe again. She is the host of the Debt Rebel podcast, and you're going to really enjoy our conversation we had today. It's full of encouragement, practical wisdom, and positivity to help families all over the world. And she'll be back later in the show for a segment we're calling Financial Encouragement for Everyone. So stick around for that. So fill up your coffee cups and your beverages and get ready for a fun time. This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. It's always about encouraging others.
She said it's cold in Arizona. Somehow the canyon doesn't seem quite as wide as the arms that used to hold her every time she cried. She said she's headed for Phoenix. By the time that you read this, I'll be on my way home. Love doesn't live here no more. Love doesn't live here no more. She took it with her when she closed the door, and I guess I knew that she'd have to come back to find what she's looking for. She wants to come home, but love doesn't live here no more. Sometimes the distance makes you stronger, yet other times it can make you fall apart. But it's hard to know what love is till it breaks your heart.
first song you heard of was by Dust and Grace. Love Doesn't Live Here. When you're ready to unwind, I mean really unwind after a long week, head over to a Wine About It in Port Orchard. It's the perfect spot to get a glass of wine, to enjoy lunch or dinner or a charcuterie board. Just breathe in the moment. Whether you're meeting friends, planning a date, or looking for a fun place to relax after a long week, we had all those, haven't we? Wine About It has a warm, welcoming vibe with fun events happening every week. Great wine, great food, great company. What more do you need? Head over to their Facebook page and you'll see the many events they have, trivia and mahjong and all bunko, all kinds of cool stuff. Give her a call. Barbara, she's awesome. 360-443-2473, and go check out Wine About It in Port Orchard and unwind. Hope you're ready. Hope you got your coffee for a good, fun time today with our guest, the host of the Debt Rebel podcast, Jules, the Budget Nerd. Hello, Jules. Welcome to Chit Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. So glad you're here and taking some time out of your busy day to join me. How are you?
I'm so good, Jody. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Can't wait to dive into your story. And my goal here is always to encourage people. Your content and your niche and what you share is encouraging. Some people might find it, a taboo. Talk about finances,
Yeah.
it's our deal. But I hope today we can really encourage people today. So I can't wait. But before we do that, I have 6 questions, and I want to 1 through 6. You get to pick the number of 3 questions, random icebreaker questions that you don't know about. So we're going to I'll let you pick 1 through 6, and those are the questions you'll get today.
Ooh, question roulette. Okay, so I'm going to pick all the even numbers, 2, 4, 6.
2, 4, and 6. All right. So 2, if you had the ability to take travel, a month off to travel anywhere you want to, visiting 6 countries, what 6 countries would you visit and why?
Oh man. Okay, so in college I did a study abroad in Hungary. So I'd want to go back there and see how things have changed. I want to go to Morocco really bad. I don't have an explanation why. I just think it would be super interesting. I did a mission trip to West Africa, and it's been, in 2012. So I would really like to go back and visit some of the kids that I met there. Most of them are grown now, but actually all of them would be grown now, but just have an opportunity to check in on them and see how life has changed in, 14 years? Okay, so that's 3. I'm going to say the US because I really want to go to Hawaii. So before my daughter was born, we were supposed to be going on a trip there. And I have lived in Western Washington my entire life and never been to Hawaii. So even though that's in the US, I would pick Hawaii. That's 4. Golly, this is a really good question. Oh. I really want to go to Iceland because many years ago I saw New Year's Eve. It was a New Year's Eve celebration, and it looked like a really interesting place to visit. So even though I'm not a huge fan of the cold, I think that would just be an interesting part of the world to check out at some point. So number 6, maybe somewhere I don't know. I've not been to Western Europe at all. So oh man, that would be really hard to nail down to one country. But, man, I'm of Swedish heritage. So maybe Sweden would be a place that I would want to go check out.
Okay.
Learn more about my ancestry.
The gambit of many countries. I interviewed a friend of mine who was in the army in Germany, and she's able to get on a train and just go anywhere. And I was so jealous. You could be in Paris in an hour or Norway in an hour. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. But great answers. Hope you get to go to Hawaii sometime. That's pretty awesome. I've been there only for the military. I haven't been taking the family, but I've been through Pearl Harbor. I wish I would have gone out to see the Arizona Memorial. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but maybe one day. Your
Right?
next question, number 4 you picked. If you had to live in a TV show for a month, what TV show would you live in?
Oh my gosh. Oh man, these are some really fun, challenging questions. My daughter, she's 7. We're really into some game shows right now. And so, are we talking like sitcoms or it could just be any TV show?
Any TV show.
Okay, so we're really into Password right now with Jimmy Fallon. It's like really funny to watch. I think that I'd probably be really good at being succinct and getting my message across by playing that game for a whole month. So,
That's
uh,
awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
All right, your last one, you'll like this one. Which would you rather have, a personal chef or a personal driver and maid?
Oh, oh, this is the hardest question I've ever been asked. Oh my gosh.
Perfect. It worked.
Oh, man, this is a tough one. Um, I'd probably say a driver and a maid because that just knocks out a big portion. But man, a personal chef would be so nice because that's an area of improvement for myself, as you could say. Um, but yeah, if I could have some additional help just getting my kiddo to different activities and myself and maybe I could listen to some more podcasts too. Like, I could get some work done in the car. I always love that those TV shows and the movies where they're like working in the car. I just think that's like next level.
Good job on the questions. Good job. Good choices. So let's share a little bit about yourself, where you're from. You mentioned Washington, obviously. We and our neighbors. We've met once before. And what do you do? The floor is
So
yours.
this is a great question. So I'm Julian Kohlbrand. Most people call me Jules the Budget Nerd, including my 7-year-old daughter, because I'm a certified financial coach and I specialize in helping families, especially ADHD moms, manage their day-to-day finances because based on my own story, I struggled a lot with money. So, I was, raised how to live within my means. I even got a degree in economics. So, all of the knowledge, all the book knowledge. And then about 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with ADHD. And then all of my lifelong struggles made sense because once I met my husband, we were on different pages as far as finances go. Like what financial security looked like for him was very different for me from myself, and we racked up $107,000 in consumer debt. And so that was very that was a rough spot to be, especially since I had the head knowledge, but carrying out the day to day stuff was really really challenging. So now we've eliminated all of that, and that's part of our kind of that Hawaii story. Is we were going to renew our wedding vows, which we did at 10 years. And we had a plan to go to Hawaii for our oldest daughter, my husband's daughter from his first marriage, my bonus daughter, I call her. We were going to go for her 21st birthday to Hawaii. And then I found out I was pregnant with our youngest. So, little plot twist of life, just having our finances and being on the same page and like having that label, if you will, of debt free has really changed our life. And so I'm crazy passionate about teaching other people that because it's one of those things, one, we're not supposed to talk about. And so we carry around a lot of shame and guilt about it. But two, we are taught in a very small, like in school, like there's just like, maybe one day if you're absent that day, you're you're kind of toast, right? For the rest of your life. But we need it on a day-to-day basis. So it kind of feels like weird and upside down to have such a big part of our day-to-day life that we aren't necessarily taught in a super structured way. So that's what I love doing, is just helping people that see life a little bit differently manage their finances, because I struggled with that myself. Even though I had all that head knowledge, applying it to the day-to-day life was very different. And then you add parenting in there, and like it is the perfect storm.
What's you look back on your earlier adult life, what's one money memory that really shaped you and who you are today?
Mm. Um, I think it was it was really like, I would say it's figuring out what I wanted most from life, like what that financial security looked like, and defining that was really helpful because I was kind of raised, you just pile up the biggest pile of money that you can so that you can give that to, when you pass, that's what's, your legacy. And so there wasn't necessarily, like a specific dollar amount or anything like that. But I realized that for myself, having that security, having some savings available so that when life happens, that was a moment for me where having that definition of what financial security looked like. Because for my husband, financial security looked like just being able to spend money without having any sort of shame, guilt, regret, panic of like, okay, this isn't I'm gonna get declined and that kind of stuff. And so when we approach those things differently, but I didn't know, I had to put some structure to it myself so that we could talk about it and go, okay, this is why maybe we're on different pages, because we're saying the same thing, but we've defined it two different ways.
You mentioned you paid off $107,000. $107,000. Say it again.
Yes.
When was that moment in your personal journey you like realized, okay, all right, we got to figure this out. We're in the whole
Yeah.
what did it feel like, and when did they get that point going, we got to figure something out or we're gonna be, in a world of hurt?
Yeah. It was like, oh man, it was like it's my couch moment. Like I was sitting on the couch going, if this the best they can get, then this is not how I want to live life. And when I realized that if we were continuing on the same path we were on, not only were we never going to get ahead, but we were going to get deeper and deeper in the hole. And so that part, it was kind of like trying to fill up a bathtub, but you haven't put the drain plug in. And I was like, okay, we got to figure out how to put this drain plug in and, put some context to what we want our life to look like. And then and how to do it, because there's lots of ways that you can do it, but I was like, we just have to stop this. And so that's kind of when I went to my husband, because I had the degree. I was like, okay, I was kind of the default money person and I was not doing well at it, even though some of the decisions were intentional, because we have, family out of state. And so we were traveling. It's not like we were going I'd never been to Morocco, but even though I want to, like that $107,000 was not these lavish trips around the world that I wanted them to be. It was just trying to maintain a lifestyle that wasn't honoring of our values. So
What's a surprising moment in that financial journey that people might not expect, that you maybe had a hiccup, maybe you were doing really well and kind of dipped, and just kind of, you had to slow down and realize, what's that moment in your life where we got to figure this out, and surprise, we made it, was it the beginning or kind of toward the end, or you felt some momentum going on?
I would say it was when you start to see like that number come down. And the funny thing is, I didn't have the full number until I actually started coaching other people, because I only had like this one amount in my head. And then I was like, wait a second. And then I'm like adding all this stuff up from all the sources. And I was like, this is so much money. But I was really focused on like the credit card side of stuff at one point. And so that part, like just seeing the progress once we finally and we plugged the drain, and then I was like, oh, we can actually do this. And then we started paying for our trips, not putting them on credit cards, but using our debit card to pay for trips to go visit family in Kentucky, and to, go on some other little adventures, and do things that were important to us. That's when I was like, oh, this is working. Like, because you can hear other people's story, but then when you apply it to your own life and then you're like, this actually works, and you want to keep going with it. That's the part where I'm like, I want to encourage people to get to, is sometimes, getting over that initial, it's like you come up to that speed bump, but you don't have enough gas. You're like, all right, I want to help be that gas to get over the speed bump. And then you're on your way.
Finance can carry so much, shame for people. I mentioned, people don't talk about their love life or finances, because those are kind of over. This is my business. This is my, area of my life, and you walked through some big financial changes. What helped you give yourself that grace during that messy time? Like, you know what, we got to just kind of buckle down. Some things will get hard. We just kind of work together, and as a team, and to get through this.
Yeah. We decided we'd rather be married than anything else. Like that was knowing that this is one of the biggest reasons for divorce or, relationships ending is we said we don't want to be one of those statistics. And so we were like, we're going to figure this out. We talked a lot. I mean, I would say this is the thing, especially in the beginning, we talked about it a lot where both of us were just like, I don't want to talk about this anymore, but we have to. And so, that was a really important part. Also, it saved our marriage, but also it strengthened our marriage. So actually yesterday was our 18th wedding anniversary. So that was really cool. We played 18 holes of golf on our 18th wedding anniversary, and it was such a blast. But we wanted to be married, so we were like, we will do whatever it takes so that's the goal. And knowing, for us, it was eliminating this debt was the secondary goal. But that first one was, no, we're in this together. We're a team. We started this together and we're going to go out together. So
Well, congratulations on your
Thank you.
18 years.
Yeah.
Awesome. How did you get the title, The Budget Nerd? Was it a moment, a habit, a nickname?
Well, yeah, that's a fun question. I kind of just like I kind of gave it to myself a little bit. Like everyone was just like, you love budgets. And I was like, I like creating them. And like before, I was like, following them was different. And so all it is just a spending plan. And I was like, you know what? Also, this is the thing that people search the most. I was like, I just want people to know, like, budgeting is not like a thing of restriction. It is like it's the most empowering thing when it comes to, spending your money. It's creating a plan. And so I was like, yeah, I'm a budget nerd, absolutely. So kind of when I was setting up this coaching practice, I was like, yeah, that sounds right, I am a budget nerd. This is like it's the permission slip to spend your money.
What's one of the most surprising, fun, ADHD friendly budget trick you discovered that has helped you, and now you are using that to help other people?
Oh, so this is kind of when I first heard it, I was like, oh, wait a second, this really doesn't have anything to do with money, but it is such a helpful tool. So I set up a separate email address for like bills and receipts and that kind of stuff. One for tax preparation. It's so much easier because you can just label things in there. But also, I'm not losing bills. So I do a lot of auto pay because before we got started here, I was like, time blindness is kind of a thing. 5 minutes and 5 hours could potentially be the same thing for me. And so the email address is really nice because then once I have on my calendar, all right, I need to go, make sure that all the bills are paid this month. I just pop in there instead of having them stuck in my personal email or my business email, and then they get lost and forgotten and not paid. It's all in there. And so the other thing that's cool about that too for the ADHD brain is we're not constantly bombarded with those notifications that there's a bill due, and then we have this anxiety of like, are we going to be able to pay it or not? And so you can go to it with intention and with purpose and organization. So I would say that's one of the things that I came across, and when I implemented it, I was like, this is so much more peaceful way to manage money, but it's not necessarily like this crazy budget hack, if that makes sense.
I'm sure you've seen the ripple effect of financial health and marriage and parenting and work-life balance. What ripple surprised you the most when you guys went through this? And maybe a story as you mentored people and coach other families that really has helped them.
Yeah, I think the biggest one is deciding how you spend your time, because we can make more money, but we can't make more time. One of my clients recently, she is trying to make the decision on whether or not she wants to continue the job that she's in. And because she's so close to her debt-free day, she's going to put that off a little bit because it makes more sense for her family, for her to step back and be home more often with her young family. And so that kind of stuff. And that's that same story for myself, is that we were able to make decisions that were best for our family first and not financial decisions. So because we had that part organized, it still played a factor, but it wasn't the number one deciding factor that we had to go to work to get a paycheck. And so it freed up how we spent our time. It reduced the amount of like anxiety and stress, especially for ADHD brains. Like if you can reduce and simplify some of the life tasks, then that helps you in other areas of your life, whether it's work or family life or just even hobbies and other things that you enjoy doing. It takes that mental load back a little bit.
When you work with families, what's the first encouraging you see when they start taking control of the finances, begin to have a plan? Because I falter on budget. My wife and I take full responsibility. My wife does 99% of our finances. I need to do better, and I'm saying that now to help work as a team with her. But how do our families really take control of their finances together and really slowly dig out that hole a lot of families are in?
Yeah. I will first off start with some encouragement for you. There's no such thing as a perfect budget. You can start out the month and life happens. So I've never, in all of the budgets that I have made, never had one that I've followed down to the penny. So just know that that the perfect budget doesn't exist, but having that plan to start out and know when you need to adjust and be off track, or if you're off track a little bit, that's the key. And that's what that budget does, is to help and have some awareness. But I would say the biggest thing is like confidence that they have, that they're like, wait a second, I can do this. And it's not as hard as we kind of make it in our own minds. Because I remember when I was first sitting down trying to create our first budget, I was like, oh my gosh, like it has to, we have to have these complicated spreadsheets or these apps and things like that. And the big picture is that we've labeled every dollar that comes into our household. And so whether that is, paying the water bill, getting food on the table, or, put some towards savings and retirement, that kind of stuff, is that we have a plan for every dollar. And when sometimes we have to adjust that because our life values change, and it will change. Sometimes it will change in a moment's notice. And then sometimes we can kind of foresee some of those things. So the budget that I made for July of last year is absolutely not the same budget that I'm using for this month. And the one I use next month is not going to be the same as I did this month. So just knowing those things and giving yourself some grace to know, okay, things aren't necessarily, they don't have to be so black and white and so rigid, that that budget is to help give yourself some grace and some guidance towards getting closer to that goal. And I think that's the thing that my clients, when I first start working with them, they're just like, this isn't as restrictive and awful as I thought it was this whole time. And so like my dad always said, we can make mountains out of molehills. And this is one of those areas that we absolutely can be like, this is such a big thing, but really it doesn't have to be, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time.
Many families out there feel overwhelmed by money. What's one ADHD family strategy to help family to get unstuck? Do you prioritize budget first, then just kind of, the best, a plan of attack? How would you recommend some families to slowly dig out of that hole? Where do they start at?
Yeah. The first one is kind of just do a little mini audit of maybe it's last 2 weeks, maybe the last month. Pick a time frame that doesn't feel super overwhelming. A month is a good time frame to just look and see what your kind of those habits are. I've had clients that found out that they were paying for a subscription to, we'll say for instance, it was like Hulu, but then they were also paying for it through their Apple Pay or whatever. And so they were paying for the same subscription twice. And so sometimes it is just looking back and going, oh, wait a second, what was this that I spent this money on? Then having some awareness, and then you can make those adjustments from there. So, it doesn't take a lot, and it doesn't have to, you don't have to sit down and plan every single dollar if that's not where you are right now. But that first step could just be looking at that last month's spending and say, hey, does this match what matters most to me and my family in this season of life? And then make some adjustments if you need to.
Do you think technology has helped or hurt families with the auto pays, with the easy access to your phone? Then back in the old days, I'm old, 55, you know, p- envelope system, money aside. Do you think technology has hurt that in families or made it easier for families?
That's a really interesting question. I think it really depends on the family. So like, and this is also especially for the ADHD side of money management, like you figuring out what works for you and your brain is the most important part. So there's some stuff that I still track on paper, and then there's some stuff that I do on auto pay. And so it's kind of creating that plan. That's what I love to do with families is like, okay, if this is an area that's really easy for you, then we don't need to put a lot of effort in here. And so the technology piece could be like, if that's easier for you to have access to that every single day, that's great. Some people that creates so much money anxiety that that's not something that they need in their lives, and like the notifications and that kind of stuff. And so it's figuring out what works best for you, and that's why personal finance is so personal, because we each one of us, we carry our own experiences and our own knowledge to our money relationship. And
Mhm.
so figuring out what is going to be best for you and your family is that's where it gets a little niched there, that there's no blanket way to do this that's going to work for every single person.
You mentioned earlier about time, don't blink. Yeah, my kids range from 33 to 23. I have grandkids. I see the glimmer of retirement of, if I can retire. You help people and families reclaim their time. What does time
Mhm.
freedom look like for someone starting their financial journey and begin planning for retirement or, a vacation or whatever it could be for families?
Yeah, it is looking about, hey, if you and kind of that first exercise is, if money was no object, how would you spend your time? And holding on to that, especially in the beginning of that, debt elimination journey or your budgeting journey, when things get challenging, that's that point where you circle back to that, because that's going to be that anchor that you're going to hold on to through this journey of and sometimes the time in the beginning is filled up with, I'm going to do a couple side hustles here, or I'm going to take on some extra hours and that kind of stuff, because you want that time later on. And sometimes that's not the journey, because like a few years ago, my younger sister went through a breast cancer situation. And so you know what, that for them, time was that was something that was super super important, and that was important to our family as well. And so it looks different for each of us, but going back to, if money was no object, how would you spend your time, and holding on to that in what's most important to you and your family. And then holding on to that as you go through that journey, because it's going to look different for each of us on how we would spend our time. But holding on to that is a super important part of that process, so that we can continue to stay motivated when things get hard. Because I will not lie to you, it is not the easiest process. So having support and encouragement is a huge part of it. That was something that we didn't have. And so we white knuckled this whole thing, and it took us 6 years. I think we would have come through it a lot faster had we had the support that of a community or a coach or someone that's been there before.
And for a while there, a few months ago, we live in the same town. Gas is
Mhm.
5.79, 5.89, 5.99. And I'm going. I'm not getting a pay raise. Gas is going up every day. I looked online this morning. 62% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That's a lot of people. To barely
Mhm.
getting by, to putting food on the table, to kind of prioritizing. Okay, are we eating this week? Are we paying the power this week? Or paying the car this week? For people out there feeling behind or unashamed, what's the very first step you would tell someone, and encourage them? It's okay, breathe, and begin
Yeah.
to build some building blocks of getting out of financial debt.
Yeah. This is going to be the most stereotypical answer you'll probably hear me say is when you get on an airplane, the very first thing they tell you to do, in the safety briefing is put on your oxygen mask first before you help anyone else. And so that is the thing. So making sure that you have a roof over your head, a food in your family's belly, and then your transportation to and from work. Because if depending on what your work looks like, that's your income, that's your ticket out of debt. And so making sure that you're protecting that, but keeping a roof over your head is super important, and food in your belly. We do not want to skip meals, and especially if we have a growing family and health needs and things like that. That is not one area that we want to skimp in. So that's the big one. And then realizing, like, depending on your kids, if you have older kids, or maybe they're out on their own and things like that, or maybe you help a family member financially, is realizing that we have to take care of ourselves first. And so that can be another challenging area to get into when you're trying to take care of your own financial situation. But just like I tell my 7-year-old daughter, like, we're responsible. Like, I'm not responsible for her. I am to a certain extent, but she's responsible for her own actions, just like I'm responsible for my own actions. And so we can't control what other people do, but we can control what we do. And so sometimes that's a little bit more challenging, when it comes to the money management side, because you're like, okay, but I deserve this. And it's like, yeah, we work hard. And there's a lot of things going on in the world right now that are outside of our control, but let's control the thing that we can control.
And you were on the same page. We're both parents and podcasters. You got your own podcast, the Debt Rebel podcast. What inspired you to start that? When you kind of going, I need to get this information out to people, to encourage people and to help others. When did that start, and how did that come about?
Yeah, spot on, is to encourage other people. I realized that when I started sharing my story, a lot of people were just like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better hearing that. I think, part of that, having all that head knowledge, and then, struggling to apply that to day-to-day life, that was, I just wanted to encourage other people and give other people hope that your financial situation right now does not define you, and it doesn't say what kind of person you are. It's just a scorecard of your past money decisions, and we only know what we know. And we're doing the best we can in all areas of our life, and this is one area that I found a lot of people struggled in, and we don't talk about it because we're kind of taught not. It's one of those topics that you're like, you don't talk about it because it's maybe not appropriate, or it makes people uncomfortable. And I was like, no, we need to talk about this, because that's why we are where we are, if we don't have the knowledge and the support that we need. And so I started that show just over 2 years ago now, and it's been really fun. It's helped me kind of go through my own money journey as well, because this is an ongoing thing, not just for myself, but for all of us, that money is going to be this is how we could be trading Pokemon cards, but we've decided as a culture that money is the thing to keep track of things. And so I just really wanted to encourage people, and also have them and introduce them to a different way of managing money that they might not have heard before, and also just simplify and kind of take it from that mountain back to that molehill, and go, okay, this doesn't have to be as hard and challenging as we have thought it to be.
And I was just thinking to myself, I never heard my parents talk about money. I left when I was 18, joined the Navy. Very, very seldom did I hear him talk about finances,
Yeah.
and maybe as the older generation, and that's probably till today too, people were just like, it's our business, what we're going through and dealing with. When you see someone, when you talk to people who are just completely overwhelmed, stressed out, anxiety is mounting, and they're just about to pull their hair out. What's one message of hope you could share? I'm pretty sure you tell them, breathe, first of all.
Yes. Yes.
What's some encouragement when you talk to? Do you counsel people? Do you meet them face to face? And how do you really encourage them to just slow down, just breathe first,
Yeah.
and encourage people that way?
Yeah. I meet, I would say 99.9% of my clients online. So virtually just like we are right here. Because I realize that there's people all over, not just in our area, but I'd love to be able to support everyone in whatever stage of their money journey they're on. But so I do one-on-one, but I also have a membership, and that's one of the things too that has been really fun to see people come together and encourage them. But the first thing that I say, that I remind my clients all the time, I even just said an email just a little bit ago, everything is figure outable. So everything we can figure it out, we can figure out a game plan for it. So I think that even just like reminding myself, like, you know what, we make mistakes, we are human. I made some money mistakes this week, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is what I do, this is what I teach. But we're human, things happen, and we can figure it out together. And so that is like that big, underlying encouragement is that nothing about this is permanent. This is all figure outable. And so when you kind of take it from that mindset, then you're like, all right, it's a little bit easier to take that deep breath then and just say, okay, we can do this.
How can people reach out to you to kind of just, to get a consult or just kind of talk to you? How does that work? And can you share about, the website or areas where you begin, can talk to people about that?
Yeah. So the best way, if you want to do a one-on-one, I do have a strategy call, and I'll make sure that you get that link, Jody, so you can put it in the show notes. But you can jump on my website, Jules the Budget Nerd. I spelled Jules, Jewlz. Thank you to the Yahoo 2000 email address. But that's the best way to connect with me. And then on there I have an ADHD paycheck planner. So if you're like, hey, you know what, I really want to get this started. I'm not sure, some people are just still not to that spot where they want to have that connection with me. But you want a tool to get started. That's another way to jump into my world. And then I'll send you some follow-up emails to help walk you through that. But just make a plan for this next paycheck. And so that's going to give you really practical tools to move forward and get that process started.
If listeners remember one encouraging thing from our interview today, our chat today, what do you want them to remember most?
But your money situation, your credit score, your past financial decisions don't define who you are. Those are just, like I said, a scorecard of things that have happened in the past. And you absolutely can make different decisions moving forward that align with your values and are going to serve your family better. And so maybe, there's a way of doing things that hasn't worked before, or maybe you just need to retry it and tweak it a little bit, that everything is figure outable and nothing is permanent.
Thank you for the time today. Really appreciate it. And I hope these words you share today. And my goal has always been, if I encourage one person per show, to me, that's all that matters to me. I'm not big on statistics, analytics, follows, likes. If I can encourage one person, that's all that matters to me. And I just I'm thankful that God's given me this opportunity to encourage people and meeting people, hearing their stories. I'm still in shock that you guys just got out of a hole of $107,000. That's incredible. And thank you for being an inspiration to people and encouragement and sharing your life and your kind of what you've gone through. And I hope we can just keep on going. And you and I are in the same gambit of encouraging people, how it is financially or just helping them through the day. Just thank you for our time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jody. I really appreciate you. We are absolutely on that same page. I think, if one family is encouraged and feels better about their finances, then today's a huge success. So I appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Take care of yourself.
You too.
Our next song is from someone who brings pure energy, heart, country, rock, and fire to the stage she steps in. Bernadette Kathryn, the Motor City's country princess, is with us, and I'm playing her song Kissing the Town Goodbye, which is one of those tracks that hits you the sense of freedom, that moment you decide that it's time to chase something bigger, step into a new chapter, leave that old one behind. It's bold, it's fun, it's full of unstoppable energy. she is known for. I'm thrilled to feature her music today. This is Kissing the Town Goodbye by Bernadette Kathryn.
I've been lost for way too long. I've been drowning in sorrow. Every night I come home, so I packed up my bags and took out the trash. Walked right out the door. I didn't wait for goodbyes because tonight is the night I've been waiting for the longest time. Put up my finger, I didn't linger as I pulled out of the drive. Ain't got no problems now that I'm gone, 'cause I'm kissing this town goodbye. All I see in my rearview mirror is my mind getting clearer. That town smothered me, no doubt. It's hard to watch a loving face disappear without a trace. That thing can turn you inside out. And so I'm heading back home to the people I know who can lift me up and bring me back my smile. Sun shining brighter as I keep on driving for every single mile. They just used me, so now I'm leaving, 'cause I'm kissing this town goodbye. To all the pain, to all the tears, to all the insults, the wasted years. Goodbye to everything that made this girl cry, 'cause I'm kissing this town goodbye. Put on my finger, I didn't linger as I pulled out of the drive. Ain't got no problems now that I'm gone, 'cause I'm kissing this town. Shining brighter as I keep on driving for every single mile. They just used me, so now I'm leaving, 'cause I'm kissing this town, kissing this town, kissing this town. I'm kissing this town, kissing this town. I'm kissing this town goodbye.
All right, friends, let's talk donuts. Because sometimes encouragement comes in the shape of a circle. Yes, Lone Star Donuts, with locations in Silverdale and in Port Orchard, Washington, are serving up nearly 50 incredible flavors, all made fresh every single day. Whether you're a glazed fan or a maple bar loyalist with bacon up top, of course, or someone who's just trying something new every visit, Lone Star Donuts has a donut with your name on it. Come on by, grab a box for the office, surprise the family, or just treat yourself. You do deserve it. Fresh, local, delicious. That's Lone Star Donuts. You can call them in Silverdale at 360-204-5021 and place your order, or in Port Orchard 360-443-2600. Also check out their website, LoneStarDonutsWA.com. Great tasting, made fresh donuts. That's Lone Star Donuts. Our next song comes from a good friend of mine, Mr. Andrew Dean, award-winning singer-songwriter. His music is all over the world. He has a rare gift of writing music that feels honest, grounded, full of heart, and his songs always carry a message, a story, and a little bit of hope tucked in there. And his song today I'm playing, Find a Way, is no exception. Find a Way is one of those songs that remind us that no matter what life throws at us, the setbacks, the detours, the moments we didn't see coming, there's always a way. Sometimes it's small steps, sometimes it's a leap of faith. But Andrew's voice and lyrics wrap around you like a reminder that you're stronger than you think, and you're not alone. It's uplifting, it's sincere, and exactly the kind of encouragement I love sharing here on the podcast. This is Find a Way by Andrew Dean.
If it all falls to pieces tomorrow, I would find a way to make it back to you. You see, you're my life, my love, my all. And I get lost in this old world without you. So I come to you today to say this. You know I love you in every way. When I wake up in the morning till I sleep at night, love spending all my time with you. Now I know that none of us lives forever, and I will cherish every moment I have with you. If it all falls to pieces tomorrow, well, I would find a way to make it back to you. Pieces tomorrow, I would find a way to make it back to you.
I'm going to welcome Jules back for another quick little segment we're going to call Financial Encouragement for Families. Jules, take it away.
Hey friend, it's Jules, the budget nerd, and I just wanted to say, if you've had a chance to listen to the conversation on Chit and Chat, Encourage One Another with Jody, I just thank you so much for spending that time with me and with Jody. I just wanted to leave you with one more thought, because if you're a parent who is struggling with the financial stuff, feeling overwhelmed with your money right now, I want you to hear this one thing. And it is, your current financial situation does not determine your final destination. And so today I just wanted to remind you that I know what it's like to sit there, or maybe you're laying awake at night just wondering what you're going to do to make everything work out, right? You're trying to figure out how to make ends meet. You're juggling maybe daycare, groceries, sports fees, the medical bills, and all that stuff just feels super overwhelming, and you're just waiting for a payday to come. And so you swipe that credit card, and it can feel like there's always one unexpected expense away from everything just falling apart. All the plates come crashing down. So especially when you're raising kids, that pressure can feel even heavier. But you don't have to stay there, and you can still give your kids an amazing life and teach them these skills. I want to share a little bit more of my story. My husband and I, we have not always had things figured out, and still to this day, we still make mistakes, but guess what? We're human. But in the beginning, we had over $107,000 in consumer debt, even though my degree is in economics and I was taught this stuff growing up. And so, but applying it to life is very different. And so it's not because we we suddenly had this stuff all figured out that we got out of that debt, but it is because we decided that we were going to eliminate it. We were going to take care of it. And it was one small decision at a time. But that first decision was that we were going to do something about it. And so it isn't, we're not an overnight success. We didn't win the lottery and paid it all off and then didn't go back into debt. We did it one small decision at a time. And so that financial freedom isn't built overnight. And just like if you're, drowning in a lot of debt, that didn't happen overnight. It's these small things that really add up. And so taking these small steps in the other direction away from that and to a life that's more life-giving and encouraging for you and your family, that's where I want to help you get to. So, and encourage you to go, because it is not something that's going to happen overnight, but it's up to you to take that next step. So what does that next step look like? So it's going to be different for all of us. Instead of focusing on all of the things that are not right, let's focus on the thing that we're thankful for, the things that are going well in life. And that I've found has been so helpful, is to reorient my brain on the positive. And I'm not talking a toxic positivity that everything's roses and everything's great and I'm just going to ignore all of the things that aren't going so great. But when we focus on the things that are happening great in our life or the things that we're thankful for, those things, we start to see those more and more. I used to joke with some of my youth students that I was like, hey, have you seen how many yellow cars are on the road? And they looked at me like, what are you talking about? The next week they would come to our small group and they're like, I saw so many yellow cars this week. And so it's that same thing when we start to realize that, like, okay, there's something that we want to see more of. Let's teach our brain to see more of that stuff. And so that's what this is. So it is, maybe you're going to look at your bank account without avoiding it. Maybe you're going to create your first spending plan. Maybe you normally buy lunch out. Maybe you pack lunch tomorrow. Or if there's a subscription that you don't really use and it's not bringing value to your life, let's let that one go. Or maybe it's having an honest conversation with your spouse about your goals and your desires for your finances moving forward. It's small actions that are going to create that momentum and are going to train our brains to see things that we want more of. So before I sign off today, I just want to make sure that you hear me loud and clear that I'm proud of you for wanting to do something different for your family. So there are times in life where we can sit and be participants in a passive way. This is an area of life where we get to be an active participant in our life. The fact that you're willing to learn something, if you want to grow in an area, or if you're just looking for encouragement, already tells me that you're headed in the right direction. And the big thing in all of this money journey or anything in life, progress is not about perfection. It's about refusing to quit, to keep moving forward. And just like Nemo says, just keep swimming, because your future self and your kids will thank you for every single one of those small steps that you take. Sometimes the hardest part of life is showing up and being an active participant in life. So I want to encourage you today that this is one of those areas. If you have some desires with money that maybe you want to change your mindset, or if you want to grow your retirement account or change how you interact with your money, you're in the right spot. So keep moving forward. Thank you so much for listening to Chit and Chat. Encourage one another. I am cheering you on. And remember that you don't have to do this perfectly. You just have to keep moving forward. Talk soon.
Thanks, Jules. My prayer today is that what's shared here today can really bring clarity and comfort, maybe spark some courage to someone listening. If it lifts even one person up of encouragement, that is what matters. And I hope those words she shared with you today, not only her little tidbit there, but during our interview, will really encourage you today. Food is one of life's best encouragers. Well, at Tequila and Tequila Street, located in Silverdale, Washington, they take it to a whole new level. Locally owned, locally loved, and serving authentic Mexican flavors, they hit the spot every single time. Now, if you're a breakfast person like I am, Tequila Street has got you covered with the greatest tasting breakfast burritos around. You need both hands to dive into, as well as some great lunch selections as well. And Tequila, located in the Kitsap Mall, has 6 different kinds of tacos for you indecisive people like myself. A little bit of everything. Fresh, flavorful, and made with heart. Support local. Eat well. Check out Tequiza. Their phone number is 360-317-0146, or Tequiza Street. Their number is 360-914-9152. Check out their Facebook page as well for great menu items. That's Tequiza and Tequiza Street, located in Silverdale. Think you're smart? Perfect. Time to prove it. Head over to Kids Up Great Escape and put those expert escape skills to the test. Grab your friends, your family, maybe that coworker who claims they can escape anything. Let's see how confident they are when the clock is ticking. Because once that timer starts, you'll be yelling random numbers and blaming each other for the wrong guesses and arguing about which lock goes to which key and somehow bonding harder than ever. That's team building at its finest. Stuck? No shame. The game masters are there to guide you when your brilliant strategy suddenly disappears. Make it out in time, you might make it on the leaderboard with your team's name on the headlights. So think of something legendary. Ready to book? Call them at 360-633-7512 or head over to kidsupgreatescape.com and book your room today. You'll find them at 9481 Silverdale Way in Silverdale, Washington. They have great rooms to conquer, 3 of them actually: Submergency, Mystical Manor, and for those who can unleash your inner detective, Kidnap County. And there's another escape room under construction, so be sure to follow their Facebook page so you'll know when it opens. Before you leave, check out their merchandise to help you remember that time you were locked in a room for an hour. Coins, pens, apparels, maybe to help you just tolerate you're with for an hour. That's a Kidnap Great Escape in Silverdale. The only question is, are you getting out? I hope you're enjoying the show so far. We have one more song left for you today, and it's by Meghanne Pulles. She is a singer-songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee, and we're playing her song Scars. And it's a reminder that the marks we carry are not signs of failure, they're proof of survival. And Meghanne's voice brings a gentle, honest reminder that fits beautifully the mission of Chit Chat. And as you listen, I hope this story reminds you that all scars are worth celebrating. Here is Scars by Meghanne Pulles.
I didn't go since I was younger. They still come to the door, trying not to let them take over. Thought I didn't see them anymore. Brief reminders of my struggles, they whisper into my ear. I'm trying to tell them to shut up. Thought I didn't hear them anymore. Cut me up and sew me back together again. Take my old life and give me a new one. Cut me up and sew me back together again. Take my old life. See, my scars are beautiful, beautiful. My scars are magical, magical. No one else can wear them like I can. Trapped up by all of my torture, they come up through the floor. Go ahead, try to take me over, but I won't let them in anymore. Cut me up and sew me back together again. Take my old life and give me a new one. magical, magical. No one else can wear them like I can.
What an incredible show we have for you today. I'm so glad you joined us today as we talked to Julian, Kohlbrand, Jules, the budget nerd. Really fun with her. Check out her podcast as well. And I hope today's podcast interview was really uplifting and encouraging. You know, talking about finances and money is not always easy, but I hope today shared a little bit of encouragement and helped you. And maybe you can reach out to her for any additional questions you may have. And I hope you found it informative today. Big thank you to the musicians who shared their music with us today. Andrew Dean, Bernadette Kathryn, Dustin Grace, and Meghanne Pulles. And their music adds so much depth and heart to the podcast. I love hearing musicians adding their songs to the show to get their music heard. A lot of independent artists. Thank you to our businesses, our sponsors of the show, Tequila Street, Lone Star Donuts, the Kids at Graysgate, and Wine About It. Please check us out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and YouTube. We're also on Facebook and any other platforms. You can check us out. Alexa will play the podcast. Just ask her to play Chit Chat, the encouraging one, another podcast. It'll play it for you. Please follow. We'll see you next week for more shows about encouragement and positivity. Just trying to make your day a little bit better. I'm Judy, the host of Chit Chat, the encouraging one, another podcast. See you next time.